Congressman Darrell Issa right now, California Republican. Sir, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me on this morning. And as you say, it's time for Hillary's staff to tell the truth about what the intent of those emails were.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What do you think that the government can learn? What can you learn from her age in terms of what was behind this? I mean, it is pretty obvious that she set up a private server because she wanted to have private emails.
Well, there's no question about that. But there's a difference between, if you will, her paranoia and a conspiracy. And the question really is Huma Abedin and some of the other staffers who originated, it appears, 1,750 classified material containing emails. They had to type those in from somewhere. And why they did it and what they did it from is a question that needs to be answered. You know, a lot of people look at Hillary Clinton because she's the kingpin. She made this decision to do something wrong. But now the question becomes, with 1,750 classified emails, 22 of them at the very, very highest levels, where did the material come from, who typed it in, and why?
Yeah. So why do you think they have to answer this? Because her supporters, Congressman, will say, look, we're not going to learn anything else. We know that she made a mistake. You know, what really is it going to tell us about where we are in the country and what missteps may have been made in certain places in the world? So explain to our viewers, if you can connect the dots, you know, what really is at stake here?
It is a crime to release sources and methods. Scooter Libby went to jail just for saying he didn't remember something related to sources and methods that he actually didn't have anything to do with. David Petraeus is now a convicted criminal because he released information to his biographer. It is serious business to release information that may be classified or to deal in it in a way that is wrong. The statute specifically says someone who takes that information is guilty of a crime. Well, she took 1,750 pieces of information that were sensitive. She took 22 that went to what we call sources and methods. Former Secretary Gates has made it clear that her server was likely hacked by one or more of our, if you will, not friends. So what she did was a crime. The question really is it a crime that she's above, or is it a crime that she and others will be held accountable for? It's not a punishable crime to have a private email server. It is a punishable crime to use that in a way that is reckless to American secrets.
This is a really important analysis that you just gave us. Thank you for that, Congressman, because you really did just set it out and explain it very, very well. Let me ask you about what happens next. Every time we talk about this subject, most people who I speak with say Jim Comey is a solid citizen. He is always going to do the right thing. What are you expecting in terms of a recommendation from the FBI, in terms of where this goes next? In such an important year, an election year, does President Obama protect her from getting indicted?
Well, I hear you say he's a solid citizen. What I would say is this Justice Department, so far, including the FBI director, haven't found the ability to prosecute members of the administration, including Lois Lerner. You understand that there was a congressional referral from the Ways and Means Committee, the Tax Committee, under a statute that says the U.S. Attorney shall present to the grand jury. Now, the fact is, Lois Lerner was not presented to a grand jury. That was a failure to enforce a statute. We have a similar situation in that no matter what we send to the FBI, they don't seem to find much, and the case is closed. So now the question is, in this case, where secrets were trafficked in and somebody had to originate those, I'm not saying the secretary, somebody had to originate them, and they did it on the secretary's private email server, and she saw them and she moved them back and forth. Will he bring charges against at least somebody? If he brings it against nobody, then in fact he clearly has not done his job. If he brings it against her key staff who originated some of these emails, who obviously didn't make up classified information, it had to be shown to them, then he begins a process in which they may take the rap, if you will, or they may admit that it wasn't an accident, that they didn't just violate the law, but in fact Hillary Clinton knew it. If they do that, then he has a case against Secretary Clinton. If they don't, if they're willing to essentially plead to felonies, maybe the case ends without going to Hillary Clinton. Maybe her followers can say, well, she was just badly represented and it was bad judgment. I don't think it's bad recommendation or bad judgment. I think Huma and other key staffers did what she wanted to do, and now that it looks bad, she's pretending she doesn't understand millennials, new technology, BlackBerries. It's amazing how she can look a little bit like George Herbert Walker Bush looked when he couldn't explain scanners. She suddenly doesn't understand technology or government rules.
Yeah, it is comical, but